Hey everybody, it's me again. This time, Zelda II, The Adventures of Link. I'm going to go ahead and scrub the PCB down, replace the battery, put a new battery holder on it, and let's have at her. I'll tell you a little bit about the game that, you know, back in the day, reminisce, because, man, I love this game. I think the worst part for me on all of the Zelda Adventures of Link was Death Mountain and trying to get down thrust. You know, in that one town. Just trying to get through all that. It was brutal. I mean, you don't know what I'm talking about. You played the game through. Okay, I am going to give this a quick sterilization, because we know all those years worth of spit residue or breath residue on it is probably going to be there. With any luck, this is going to turn into a very nice polished board, where these will be just bring back that mirror luster, you know, that luster that I'm looking for, that mirror polish on it. Oh, I already see that wear line. You can see a spot. I can see a spot right here, and of course the damage on the board. You want to see this damage on the board right there. This is what I was referring to in my previous video, is this part of the PCB. It doesn't look too bad, but I'm still going to put some of this no chip down on it and just at least give it a little bit of strength back to where it was supposed to be at. And of course that little spot right there, the wear line, where the cartridge itself, the shell, meets the PCB. I'll get all this extra flux off here too, or flux, and then I'll polish this up. But yeah, so my day has been going smoothly. It's been really, really hot, so my my time awake and alert has shifted now, so where I'm up all night and I'm sleeping, you know, at least some of the day. I still can't get back to, you know, sleeping all day. I'd rather be doing this. I'd rather be cleaning and you know, entertaining while I'm doing that. These cartridges and talking to everybody, seeing how their day is going. You know, what was this like for you when you were playing it? I mean, could everybody else find the spell? You know which one I'm talking about. Could you find that small little town? It was hard to find that one. I was like, where is that located? I mean, you have to use the hammer and bust a tree just to find that town, or that the town. So it's like, and everything is a little bit cryptic. You know, talking to people in the game. I'm just letting this dry, so I'm, you know, kind of a little bit of a reminiscing here when you're playing the game. Oh man, there was really nothing too difficult in the game leader wise, you know, the boss fights, with the exception of that blue knight and his charging horse. Oh man, because I don't know if anybody else had that serious problem with that blue knight, but when he would go off screen and then he'd come charging in at you, it just made it very, very well, difficult. Okay, enough with the digression. I'm going to go ahead and get into cleaning this all up. Okay. There's only a certain way that I have to hold this eraser too for it to work properly. I suppose I should put this on the charger here in a little bit after this one too, because I haven't been charging it. Long lasting, that's for sure. So seeing Zelda play yesterday or the day before, I love seeing it play on the original console. It just brings me back. I mean, there's different ways of playing the games. I mean, you can have the the mini version of it. Here, give me 1 second. I'll show you what I'm talking about. The smaller console. Here, yeah, this little guy right here, or gal, whatever you want to call it. But yeah, I mean, I like it, but it seems like the revision of the games that are on it. 1 second. It just seems like the revision of the game is a little bit different than the ones that I'm used to, like the cart version of it, revision A. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. Maybe somebody else might be able to tell me, what's going on with that. But it just seems like those games they're different on that console. And I'm not saying different good. I'm saying different as in way more difficult than they rightfully should be. I mean, as I was going through the game, Zelda on that console, I couldn't receive or find any rupees. The game just would not spawn rupees after I would destroy an enemy. It just would not do it. I was sitting there for a half hour and no rupees. Do you know how frustrating that is when you need something and you can't get it? I know. I can go through it and I could edit it. I can crack it if I want to, but I'm not doing that. No, I want to keep everything that I have and own stock. I haven't even jailbroke an iPhone. I even have that. I know a lot of people that have done that. I won't do it because I prefer the original stock devices that I'm using. And like this here, if there was a ROM hack for it, I wouldn't want to even use that ROM hack. I like the original game the way it was intended by the original creators. They worked their butts off for these games. I know they had to have. Just like how many hours and days or lost sleep just making Zelda on a deadline. Oh, I couldn't imagine having to design even a level for this game. Especially if you were like on the lead team of it. Zelda 2 especially. I mean, come on, you guys. You see how much has been put into this game? I mean, I'm surprised this one doesn't have a sequel to it, though. Like a second part where you play it through again and everything's been moved or changed. But I would probably assume that there wasn't any space for a second mission. I could be wrong. I don't know. I've seen it on the Famicom disc, and there's something interesting about the Famicom disc is that the memory locations are a little different for certain things. Okay, let's get all this all cleared up. Okay, give me 1 second here. I'm gonna go ahead and clean this, and then I'll be back. Okay, I'm back. The reason why I pause it is just in case I bump the camera, and I really don't want to have to do any extra editing if I don't have to, because my editing tools are, well, lacking. Alright, the reveal, sweeping it off. And you guys want to see all that? And I know I do. This is probably the most satisfying part of all this. I think I've mentioned that before, quite a few times actually. But for all you new people coming and watching my stuff, I thank you very much. Welcome. Welcome to Spider-Man Gameboy Ports channel. I'm not going to ask you to subscribe because you guys get that all the time. I mean, like, all the time. Subscribe. No, you guys don't have to subscribe. Just watch my stuff. I'm greatly appreciated. Just having you guys here. Maybe comment if you want to, say something about something. You know, what this means to you, what this game means to you. That's all. That's the only thing I'm looking for. Say hi. Okay, give me one more. You know, give me 1 second here. I am gonna brush this off real quick. Yeah, like another thing too for like mods and stuff is like, do I really want to change my top loader Nintendo into an HDMI console when I have the other system? No, I kind of tell you the truth. I like it looking a little gnarly, little old, little dated. I like it that way. Maybe that's just me. I don't know if anybody else is like that, but I prefer the original way it's supposed to look, even on a flat screen TV. I mean, I do have upscalers, and I've used them. I've recorded my gameplay through an upscaler. It's really great to have an upscaler when you need it and when you want to use it, and when you really want to do a game capture. But lately, I've just been setting up my camera next to the TV and recording it straight from the television, and I seem to I'm more comfortable playing the game that way than I am just showing game footage, because I don't have the microphone capabilities that say other more notable gaming channels have. I'll never see myself getting that stuff. I'm sorry, I'm concentrating here. This is really, really on there. I think I am going to try using that other eraser. 1 second. Oh, yeah. Also, forgive me if I lose train of thought. It is so brutal hot. Like I was saying earlier. Oh, it is so hot that I'm losing train of thought, and I might stutter, and that's just what I have to go through. So please bear with me. I'm being gentle too, because I know this has already been cracked here. I'm just worried that there might be a stress factor, fracture somewhere else on the, somewhere else on the board. And I'm just being very mindful of that. Ew, baked on breath. Could you imagine that? You early in the morning, and you finally get yourself around to buying a couple of these things, and it turns out that you have coffee breath, and then here you are, you're breathing all that coffee or tea breath all over your cart. Yeah, come on now. That's just... It's about a whole bunch of gnarliness. Grody. That's gross. Let's see if this worked a little better this time around. It just seems like there's something like a residue or something on it. I'm going to go ahead and just rub this real quick. Just like that, without it being wet. Get you out of the way there. Okay, rubbing alcohol time. Let's see how much of a shine that came back from. You know this game immediately is going to play right as soon as I put it into the console. This right here, this process is no joke. It really works. I've never seen anybody else showing this part of it on social media or my, any of my channels that I watch this stuff on. I mean, and yes, I do watch some technical channels where they are doing mods on these old consoles and stuff, and I get some inspiration from them, but I'm also like, what are you doing? Why didn't you show that step? Like, why aren't you showing us how to clear a via or whatever it's called? Those little portholes. Yeah, it's like, is that like a trade secret? Is like only engineers are able to know these things? Why can't you, share that with us? And I've been just using these right here to stab it and put a hot iron against it, and there you go. And then heating this up and then snipping it with a flush, a flush mount or a flush pair of side cutters or cutters. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to change these from being original. I want to keep this here, this stock, and just put a piece of foam there instead. I've also noticed that if I put this together like loose fitting shell, like these have been, to put a piece of foam on the back of this too, so that it doesn't rattle inside of the actual cartridge. Just saying, there's things to do. Okay, yeah, it looks like it's getting there. It's really, really close to being almost the way I want it. I might have to hit it up a little bit more. What are you doing? Sorry, I'm talking to me. What you doing? You want to say hi to everybody? Huh? You want to say hi? No? Hey everyone. Let me get you the camera over here. There's Miwu right there. I don't know if you guys can see her okay or not, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just having some fun here. My baby girl. You are one smart cat, that's for sure. So yesterday, as the heat was rising, I noticed that my feline, Miwu, she would jump up on my chair here, a rolling wheelchair, and she'd literally jump on it so that it would roll towards the air conditioner, because I have a portable one. And I just looked over at her. I was like, wow, you're smart. That's really because I've had some less than intelligent cats along the way, but this she's just she's a step ahead of the bunch. Okay, let's get this all brushed off here. I think this is gonna be the last time I'll have to do this. I don't know. It is what it is, man. It's gonna be a little old, a little tarnished. It's gonna look a little weird. So yeah, outside of my feline doing that with the air conditioning, it was getting so hot that it would be hitting the 90s, and my house gets just like stagnant air. Like it doesn't have any good airflow unless I open the windows, and I don't like opening my windows too much because of, you know, just dust and pollen outside and allergies and, you know, a bunch of other little factors along the way. Okay, so that's what came off of this side of it, and that was what was there before. Oh yeah, it is. It's doing that, isn't it? Maybe if I just let it air dry instead. I have a little fan right here. Oh, you can see the luster now. I mean, I just saw that right there. That brought it back big time from what it was. I don't have a comparison. I can compare it to the other side of it now. But that really brightened that board right up. Nice. That's what I was looking for. Okay, so let's check the other side now. And look how dull those contact pads are. Yeah, and it's not that the way I'm holding it either. Well, that has a little bit of a bearing on it, but yeah. Let's go ahead and clean this side up now too. And again, I'm going to be very cautious around this area right here in that little spot. Give me a second here, and let me go ahead and sanitize this area, get this line cleared off. Remember, if I ever break a trace, if one of these traces are ever broken, I can just resolder it. And all you gotta do is just scrape off a little bit of the solder mask or the silk screen, or whatever you want to call it. And you can, I wouldn't say it's easy, but you could easily put new stuff down, like solder down on it, and that would fix that issue. Possibly. So as it was getting hot outside, I was digressing again. Yeah, this heat really messes with me. I just installed a second window mount unit in my back bedroom, and now the whole house is just comfortable. It's not brutal hot like it was the day before. It's like right now, I'm actually comfortable where I'm not like just cooking. Oh yeah, all that spit residue. You can see that. This is before I even put the eraser down on it. Oh, sorry about that, people. I'll have to do an edit on that one. Oh yeah, and the time on this camera is going to be up here in a second, so boop. Hey, here I'm back. It was just the maximum size of my phone can record for. No, I was just waiting for it to dry anyway, and then I cleaned up some of the station around here. There's some particulate from an eraser floating around still. Alright. But as I was saying, the yeah, I put in another air conditioner, and now the house is much more comfortable than what it had ever been before. I'm sure there's somebody out there just cringing about this. I'm just hoping that some of this stuff is AMSR for you. See, it's just very relaxing. I even like the sound of this. I didn't like the sound of the squeaking this made, though. That, when it was wet, no, thank you. Nah, it's like a balloon. Rubbing on a balloon or fingernails down a chalkboard. Yeah. Yeah, but I really do believe in that AMSR stuff. If you really are, you know, if you really listen to something and if you find it relaxing and it quells your mind and helps you sleep, it does all this stuff, go for it. Raindrops, any of these things. For me, it's this style of music, repetitive stuff that doesn't have a clash or a big bang in the background or anything that would just kind of startle me back awake. Because I would listen to a lot of music, I'm not going to name any bands, but I would listen to a lot of music and I would fall asleep to it just to find that the hidden track would wake me up. And I'd be like, oh, come on, man. I wish they would have at least put a more softer song on those hidden tracks. Give me a second here, I gotta extend this out some. It's gonna grind. Yeah, I also bumped the camera last recording segment, so if you see a little bit of a break in the video footage, there's a reason for it. I'm not doing any clever editing in these. I try to keep them as stock as possible so that you know how long it really does take to actually do these videos. It's a time-consuming process. On average, even if I wasn't even recording it, it's still going to take a half hour, 45 minutes just to grind these things down to get them clean. And that's just being conservative on the number of how long it takes. It might take even longer than that, usually about an hour. And I'm just recording it and taking you guys along with the ride, you know, so you can watch it and see what I'm going through. It's all trial and error. It's all figuring out what works. And once they get the process down, then you guys could use that process for yourselves. And I can move on to a different process, you know, like a different project. Because I have, well, I'm going to work on the rest of my Nintendo collection. I have a few other games. I'm almost done with the first shelf, and I have another shelf to go through. So I got like 30 or 40 games to clean and repair. And I'll make corresponding code videos for them too, unless I already have them up. But I've been noticing that I'd much rather make a newer code video than my old ones from 2017. The 2017 ones had no format. I didn't know what the heck I was doing. I didn't know what I wanted to do for the channel. I thought I was just going to play Diablo 3. I thought I was just going to, you know, play some Overwatch live. Stuff like that. And moving on to cleaning these cartridges, I didn't think I was ever going to be able to do it. I didn't think that I was ever going to be able to get this particular condition under control long enough to actually be back at being able to have the actual steady hands. Because I usually would just shaking almost like I have like you know, multiple sclerosis. It's very, very close to that. It was terrible. Still is. It's just I am very competent on keeping myself from having those issues anymore. You know, competent, confident, whatever you want to call it. Bump the camera. Again, a lot of cleanup. Sorry, it's like I have ADD when it comes to all this. Yeah, give me a second. Okay, I'm back. I finished sweeping all this stuff up. But yeah, back on to saying what I was talking about for microlepsy. It is, you know how you take certain things in life for granted, like being able to pour a cup of coffee? Well, think about being able to do that and literally having to concentrate all of your concentration on just that one task, because your body is having either a silent migraine. If you're ever curious about what a silent migraine is, it affects your body much as a regular migraine, but you just don't feel the pain in your head or the region that you normally would have your migraine at. And yeah, it's something else for real. And trying to get the description down of what you're feeling during the time frame, it's annoying. I mean, it's nerve-wracking. And then of course you add on the pain side of things, and then it's like, okay, so that's that. But then you add seizures with it. So it's like you're having petit mal seizures, and then you're having grand mal seizures during the migraine. Like right when you're having the migraine full force, about a 6 or a 7 on the scale, it escalates, and it keeps progressing further and further than that. And it's just, I don't want to get too far into it. This really isn't the video for that. I'll discuss it slowly but surely along the way, little bits and pieces here and there, and I'll tell you guys about it as I've been dealing with it for the past, since 2006. It's a miniature piece of burden. Okay, so I think I'm going to go ahead and hit this up again with this eraser too, because I don't know what might be on this board. It seems like there's a little bit of a dielectric grease on it. I don't think a cat blue or anything like that, but it just seems like there's a little bit of a varnish or something on here that I'm having a little bit of an issue getting it to clear off. So bear with me here. And I apologize for the digression, but it's a big part of my life, and I am coping as best I possibly can, and this is my coping mechanism, is creating wonderful, or at least entertaining videos for the world. I mean, for a mass audience, because it's not just for the States, it's not just for, one continent or another. It's for anyone that feels like tuning in and watching it. It's global. So, I mean, if anybody else is suffering from these particular problems, talk about it down in the comments section. I'll be more than forthcoming in telling you, what works for me and what had worked for me for many years until what works for me now. I mean, I drink a lot of coffee. Yeah, that's like a go-to for knocking out a headache. But knocking out a migraine, you have to have a little stronger than just regular coffee kind of thing. Wait a second, there's a little bit of the reveal. So yeah, if I'm a little unusual when I speak or say certain things, it's because I've had well over 1,000 grand mal seizures during the course of these years, until just this year, 2020, is when I stopped having seizures, and I'm on my 4th month now, seizure free. So if I have like a speech impediment, it's because of, it's a permanent factor. It's just going to be, built into my brain now because of what I've gone through. I'm not here to burden anybody with my health problems. I'm just saying, say, if I stop having Or if I stopped producing videos, then you guys would understand why I would stop making videos. But yeah. Okay. Now I'm going to scrub it. Let's see that mirror polish come through. I'd be so happy if it shines up and and turns into like a mirror. Wow, what game was that turned into that? That was just absolutely, like gorgeous after it was done being cleaned. I don't remember which one it was. I might have to look through the videos and find which one it was, but yeah, it was something else. I was very, very impressed. I was like, that was nice. Actually, you know what? I think it was Journey to Silius? Silius, however it's pronounced, or the Trine Conquest. Looks like this particular batch of cotton swabs is much better than my last one that I got. You see how well they're holding up versus the other ones? The other ones were just like, as soon as they came out of the container, they weren't even put together. I'm just gonna say it probably came from one of those, a notable brick and mortar store that starts with a W and ends with a T. Yeah, that's definitely coming off. Excellent. Oh, another awesome thing for my kitty, or for Miwu. I picked her up a fountain, one of those pet fountains, and I'm just gonna say it took her about a week and a half, 2 weeks to finally get accustomed to drinking out of it. But now she's drinking so much water that I could tell that she's just that much more happier. I mean, she's got more energy. She wakes up in the morning now and she's got a feistiness to her where she wants to play and beat me up, like literally. Okay. So, yeah, this really turned out perfect. I mean, wow. That turned out great. I was like, that's a good looking cart now right there. I mean, I can see a little bit of a spot right there where it's got some gouging. That I didn't see before. You know, like a little bit of scarring right there. You see it right there? That I don't want to give you guys, I don't want to use my middle finger. I can use pointing it right there. That pin right there. You can see a little bit of it. And I don't know if that's I think it might be just an indentation. Because I'm more worried about this kind of thing right here happening down there. I'm going to go ahead and check this side real quick. you know what, I'm going to go ahead and just hit it up real quick again with some more rubbing alcohol and polish it just one more time. This time I'm going to go a little bit more firmly across it. But this is really turning out to be really nice looking. This is one impressive process. I just hope that I never have to worry about getting a cease and desist letter for doing these things, because it's meant for entertainment. It's not meant for anything else. I'm not here to make money or sell these things. I'm not selling merchandise either. I mean, even if I had, you know, a substantial amount of subscribers. Oh, I see some scar. Right. See some markings. I'll get it. We're getting there, all right. Okay, now that looks really, really slick. I mean, I got all that luster back. Okay, now it's time to put some clear coat down. Actually, you know what? I'm going to hold off on that. I'm going to go ahead and solder the battery terminal on and do that last, because I don't want it to get sticky anywhere in case, you know, something like that happens. But how's this cart look inside here? Oh, it looks good. I cleaned it prior to even recording. Okay, I see one spot that needs to be done and touched up. Maybe get out you guys this so you can see what I'm doing here. It looks like that's probably, what, hot glue maybe? Okay, put this back in here. And clean that leftover residue off. Prep the area for the soldering iron. Speaking of that, I'm going to go ahead and turn that on right now. One of these days I'll just do a product review of that soldering iron by itself. I don't know enough about soldering. I never actually finished my engineering courses. I physically wasn't able to attend my courses anymore. And you guys know now what stopped me and prevents me from doing any of that. Maybe one of these years I'll go back to school and get my degree, but sorry, I have that on the camera. Look at that. That's all flux residue. Old stuff from way back in the day. Gross. Because I'm just thinking that this is, you know, if it's an acid, I think this is the one that actually has the positive terminal on the outside here. If I remember correctly, like the battery's different on this board. We'll see. I'll be sure to check that out. Nope, no, that is the positive terminal right there, the smaller one. No, sorry, it's positive right here. Get that up there so you can see it. So this is the positive, this is the negative right here. Come on, focus. Anyway, so yeah. Yeah, oh yeah, we're already hot too, so got nothing to worry about on that. Let me put some flux down. And here, let me show the brand again too. This is what I'm using. It's water soluble, lead free. That's excellent, right? And it says to use gloves and all that, which you're supposed to, but I don't get any on my hands. So I'm very cautious and careful about that. So. And I can always just wash my hands too. Yeah, yep. So what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna dip the my wire leads into the flux, and it's going to leave it right here on the tray. I'm starting to get steps down now for this too, like the right way of doing this and the wrong way of doing it. And I'm going to start trying to really work with these tweezers a little bit better too on this left hand, because my left hand seems like it's the weakest on strength for what I'm doing right now. Okay, set this down right there, and I am going to use this wire to add some flux down onto this. There we go. I mean, I might as well, right? And now, if I bump the camera, my apologies. What I'm trying to do here is trying to get everything just right. Got a bead of solder. See the bubble? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to, oh, you know what? I got to add some flux to the board too. Let's just tack it down. I'll come back over again. Yeah, that's on there good. And yes, I have a fan blowing away from myself. good now. It's not going to go anywhere. Wow, this one's really, it's splatting pretty good today. May have put down just a little bit too much. Maybe. I don't think so. It's like, I've learned my lesson already, man. There's no such thing as too little of this stuff. Or, you know, like too much of this stuff, because I've been using a lot. Hope everybody can see what I'm doing. Now, I could be bending these down, these terminals down, but I kind of like them up and out like this because it gives it that just that right amount of space inside the card itself up against that wall. You know, for the back of the cart. I mean, to each his own. Anybody can do this. You can do your own way, but this is my preferred method so far. Alright, I think I'm good on that. Now it's just time to scrub everything up. Seems like everything's got a little bit of crap on it now. Yeah, I'm gonna pull this out of here. Just set it over here. I'll clean that up here in a little bit. I like that this stuff is water soluble. Now, I do believe that I got some of this stuff on the actual board itself over here, so like right down in here. And then we'll clean out the top of that board. We are good to go. Now I can stick a battery inside that here in a second after I wipe all this out real quick. And my apologies, I wasn't expecting it to splatter all over the place. but it is something that we have to look out for. So as I was saying earlier, wow, sorry about that. Well, it's time to stop the video anyway. Give me a second. Again, maximum recording size. I'm trying to catch it before it does it. So as I was going to demonstrate that, it's going to put a piece of foam right back behind this to give it that little bit of extra space that it needs, so it won't rattle around inside the cart. And all I've been doing is the same foam as I used for the other one. You know, like, not that big, but you just put a piece like that right there, and then when I put it back together again, it doesn't move around or shift around inside there at all. Okay, let me put a battery inside there real quick. I'll check it for continuity. That wire looks a little messed up too. Yeah, I like using this foam for sure. Okay. Yeah, this multimeter that I'm using does not have continuity for a tester. It doesn't just, it doesn't alarm or beep or anything for me. So all it does is just shows the voltages. We're good. At least we're good on that side. Let me get this set over here real quick. My bad. Yep. We're good. Okay, I'm gonna put a piece of foam right in between here and here. Make sure that the board is free right there so that you can actually put the cart in there. And then I'm just gonna sink this down just a little bit onto it. Just like that. Oh, it has a piece of foam there. And I have another one, of course, for inside of it. What we're gonna do next is do that node chip. And yeah, I'm going to work on this side first for the node chip and see if there's any spot. Oh yeah, the whole board line needs it, doesn't it? Okay. So here we go. Make sure everything is out of the way. I don't want any of this garbage getting caught up into it. I mean, you could take this back off again with a cleaner. I'm sure I could probably get it off again, but I never want to have to worry about this ever again. If there was an easier way, I would do it. And this is that one spot that has been fractured. I figured use some of that right there, and I might build it up and build it up and build it up until it's a flush with the rest of it. I hope everybody can see what I'm doing here. Because a lot of people don't watch these on on their PC. They watch them with their phones. It's just like putting varnish down or a lacquer. But a little more stronger and more durable. At least in my opinion. I mean, this right here could... I don't think it's going to change color in time or anything either. I think it's just going to be just what it needs to keep it, protected. I'm going to let this one set. I got a fan here going, and I'm drying it off. And I might put another little bit more rail on that top part right there, because I see it's a little higher up there for wear line. And then I'll show you guys what it looks like afterwards. Guys and gals. Sorry if this is getting windy right there on the camera, but can you see where I put the whole entire layer down? Now, this won't be able to be closed up or anything, so there's going to be a constant abrasive, rattling around of the cartridge inside there until I can get a new cart replacement. So that's the only reason why I'm doing this particular clear coat. Plus it keeps it from rusting out if it's ever going to rust out. Okay. Is that still tacky, or is it going to be all nice and dry now? Still a little tacky. Oh man, this game is awesome. Absolutely loved Zelda 2. I think I played Zelda The Adventures of Link more often, after that came out. I played that more frequently and more often than I had ever played the original Zelda, because the the leveling, where you can gain experience points by offing enemies, and you get those P.O.W, for experience points. Yeah, I think that was one of the reason why I would always like playing the game. And Death Mountain too. I loved going through Death Mountain and getting those axe-wielding, whatever creatures they're called. They're brutal. I mean, they'd get you every time, and the blue ones, forget about it. And the boomerang guys too. It's just the format that that Link is in, where he's standing, 2D scroller versus the top down. I don't know. I seem to, it's just like I preferred playing it that particular way. Okay, I think we're good. I'm going to go ahead and put inside the cartridge now. And then I'm going to coat this side, and this, yeah, just, there's only 2 spots that needs it, or 1 spot. Just that 1 spot right there. So that will not be a very difficult thing to do. And then you guys get to watch me play the game for a little bit. I'm taking a look at that, seeing what it looks like. Okay. So you guys get to see what I see. It is right where that bridged loop is at. It's right there. Is a kind of a wear mark. So that's where I'm gonna put some of the snow chip down on it. Gonna be a bit much. And I'm coming at a certain angle too when I put this down, because I don't want it to end up leaving a tacky trail behind it across the actual contact pads that we just cleaned. That'd be obnoxious. Alright, I give that a second to cure, and then we can go ahead and play the game. So I will see you guys in a little bit. Quick second back, you guys. I'm gonna put that right there, and then I'll put the cart on. And that way the cart, it's quiet and it doesn't bulge, and it's, yeah. Alright, now we're gonna play the game real quick. Greetings, hey everybody, it's me again. This time, Zelda II, The Adventures of Link, with Game Enhancer. Went onto the official Game Enhancer Game Genie website, and I found myself a couple codes for this particular game pedal. And I'm pretty happy. I did play the game some last night to get a little bit further than what I would, you know, like to be at. Yeah, I went through Death Mountain, I got the hammer, and I had some fun, got down thrust, and now I'm just working on going for the raft. Alright, so this is going to be Infinite Lives, which is almost a must. Okay, that's Infinite Lives, and this will be Mega Jump. Now, I've not tested Mega Jump yet, so let's see if it works. Yeah, the swap shield spell for another spell is 2 codes each, so I'm not even going to input them in. Yeah, let's see how far I got. Oh, and a way to save your character, I'll show it real quick. You can actually go into combat, hit your start menu like this. Use your second player controller, up in A. Same thing as the original, the first one. And I think that's excellent. That's really, really good to know. In case you're stuck somewhere and you just want to book it back to the beginning. That's the way to do it. jump works well. Excellent. Keep thinking, do I have to go through a death mountain and to find the potion to save that lady's daughter? Or maybe not. Decisions. Could always just pull out the official Nintendo player guide and see what it says. Man, that extra jump is nice. Oh, come on. This game is it's insufferable sometimes. It's like these. Oh man, I don't know what to even say to it. It didn't even have to be that hard. Well, now I might as well. So yeah, I found the potion or the cure for the lady's daughter. And that's I couldn't remember at first there where it was. Just gonna chalk it up to the heat. 91 degrees today. Ugh. You know, for Minnesotans, you know, for how far up north we are, it's pretty warm. Not letting you sugarcoat it. It's hot. It's brutally hot. But considering that, you know, it was this warm, I was still able to get a bunch of stuff done around the home or the house. It's pretty awesome. I was able to clear out a few shelves. And then I put a bunch of my consoles up into where the shelves are cleared up at. I used to have like glasses and stuff for drinking, you know, adult beverages. I don't do that anymore. I wish our shield would at least work somewhat. Not a bit much. I mean, I know my level of my sword is only 4, but that's a lot of hits to kill them. Yeah, I'm gonna be toast in a second. I can be walking through the entire level with nothing but beeping. Got me. At least they don't take like 4 or 5 hits. Yikes. And I'm being very quiet right now because I am concentrating. The game is... It's fun. It's just one of my favorite games. Thank you. Did I at least get it? Oh, man. I'm like, come on. This is where it pays to have infinite lives. Moments like that. I'll probably kick the bucket at the boss here. Is this the knight? Where he's jousting? Yes. Oh, this one's miserable for me. Yeah, because I guess level 2 was the one that I was having problems with too, where the knight, when I knocked his helmet off, he would hide off screen, so I couldn't get him, and then he'd send in his helmets to get me the rest of the way. They kept shooting at me. I don't know how many times I died there. I was like, oh, come on. And my weapon wasn't very powerful, so I wasn't able to really do that much damage to him. I guess I was going to be trusting this one. No, we'll get it. So you know the life codes work for the game, game enhancer. I was like, what was that? I'm sure I have to actually hit the horse. Come on, this game is just cheap. Look at these cheap shots he's trying to pull here. It's almost as bad as Link's Shadow. This is level 3? Come on. Nice one. At least they're only one hit now. If you haven't had a chance to, go ahead and take a look at my my other video, the code video. Yeah, it's pretty awesome. Awesome. Okay, I think that's going to be the end of the video, guys. I think that's good. Go ahead and up and A button. Second player controller. Woo woo! And we'll save it. And we'll go back and where am I at? Right at the beginning. With all my stuff. Cool. Alright. Well, thank you all for watching. Be safe. Stay healthy. Happy gaming. Take care.